Hello there everyone, Mr. E here reporting for Sloptide News Network. We have some breaking news about the Cyber Mastiff, our new class, the Arbites Canine Companion, or partially canine, as this thing has the option to be replaced with almost 100% mechanical parts. This, as the devs will go on to stress in this blog, is not a cute creature. It is more of a monstrous entity, and yes, you can pet the dog, but other players, it does not seem clear that they can. So that might be a little bit of a dismaying news, but at least the Arbites class itself can pet its dog while in the Morningstar. Let's get into things. And a quick reminder, if you are not yet subscribed to myself, Mr. E, and of course Sloptide News, do so now and make certain that you're catching up on all the latest Darktide and Slop-related news. Let's get into it. So we've got the Cyber Mastiff here. What is it? Well, it's a bred for war canine companion. This thing is almost entirely replaced with mechanics, and as they say here, it depends on the hound how much is organic and how much is mechanical. So this leads me to believe that there will be cosmetics that will replace more or less. It would be very cool if they let you have some cosmetics that make it completely 100% mechanical or completely 100% organic. I'd love if it was just like a happy a happy golden retriever running around the field. Would be very, very funny. But I think they're going for a much more intimidating and monstrous appeal with this thing. So this thing is core to the Arbites gameplay. It is going to be with you 100% of the time. They were worried about the implementation of that. They thought that perhaps they couldn't do it, so they were willing to back off of that idea and have it be more like Mordecai's Bloodwing in Borderlands 1, where the bird is not with you except when you cast it as your ultimate ability. But as luck would have it, they were able to get this thing working, so it is with you 100% of the time, except for if you choose the talents that make it so that you do not operate with the dog and you get a buff instead. So, what is the dog going to do? Well, they had 3 core design philosophies behind the dog. The dog should always act how the player expects it to, the dog should always be in the player's field of view, and the dog should never be in the way. And this means that when you are in the mission, it will follow you right next to you. It won't linger in an area and like stay on enemies. It's going to try its best to keep up with you until you start fighting. It stays in sight when you're out of combat, and it doesn't despawn and respawn, like teleport to you if it gets locked out of the way. I'm assuming that based on that and based on the footage we've seen, this thing moves very, very fast, so it's able to reposition itself quite easily. It will stay to your side like a loyal attack dog when it's not in use. And in combat, it will mostly act on its own. It picks out certain enemies to harass and attack, but you can command it to attack specific enemies like laser specials by pinging said enemy twice. So that means that all classes, all specializations that have the dog available to them, can use the dog to specify it towards attacks. I was previously thinking that this might be one of its ultimate abilities, directing the dog to go to a certain area and attack those enemies, but it seems like all of the Arbites archetypes are going to have the ability to direct the dog, and that's going to be very, very powerful, because the ability to ping a low health enemy like a sniper or a bomber is absolutely huge. Sometimes getting the lineup and exposing yourself to enemy fire is the hardest part of taking out those enemies. Having a dog be able to do it for you is quite impressive. Like the Poxhound does when it attacks players, for human-sized enemies, it pounces on them and locks them down, and it won't be able to lock down any Ogren-sized enemies. It can get them for like a second, but they'll get them off, which honestly I think is how the Ogren should work for our character classes. And it can't stagger monsters, but it will pack a good punch. Hopefully this means that once it pins them down, it will kill them, it will finish them off and not just pin them down. That would be quite annoying if you had to finish off every enemy that it pins down. But you can tell it to swap up commands. If it's going on something on its own, you can tell it to swap up commands, and it will promptly do that. It can actually rescue you when you are disabled by a Poxhound or mutant. So what this means is that the Arbites class, if you're using the dog, is immune to being dogged. You can always use it to get the Poxhounds off of you. You can always use it to get mutants off of you and stuff like that. But it won't have enough stagger to rescue you from a Chaos Spawn or a Burgle. So in-game, the dog, as I've assumed all the way up to this point, it cannot be shot or take any damage. As I claimed in my prediction videos, I thought it would be far too annoying to have a dog that's going to take damage and you have to worry about micromanaging its health bar on top of your own and your team's. So yes, it's going to be completely impervious. The enemies will prefer to target you and the rest of your strike team, and I think that makes total sense. There's plenty of nodes that in the talent tree that further improve this dog, this Cybermastiff's capabilities, but if you choose those nodes, you are obviously putting power away from yourself as the player and more onto the dog. But that could be a completely very, very cool playstyle, especially if you're like a player who doesn't have the greatest mechanics. You just want this dog to do a lot of heavy lifting for you. And you can opt out of the Mastiff if you want to, which is what I've been saying up to this point and what I've been claiming for, since we saw that first the release trailer where it's showing a lot of footage and a lot of screen grabs with no dog in the screen grab. So I was assuming that there was a sort of lone wolf hunter WoW-esque archetype where you don't have the dog and you get a big buff to compensate, because the dog seems like it's quite useful. As they say down here, they had to be very careful when designing the Mastiff's power. This is something that I have also been saying quite a bit, is because if you made the Arbites class as powerful 1-to-1 as, say, the Zealot or the Ogryn, and then you gave them a dog, they are just going to be better, because players already have insane skill and can do crazy things with just their base class. Now add in an AI-controlled companion that is only there to give you extra benefits, so they would be as good as any other class with extra stuff on top. Here's what they also say, that having Vermintide's Necromancer class already developed didn't really help them a whole lot with developing for this challenge, unfortunately. And their goals of navigating the levels smoothly while always being in your field of view and not being a bother was the most difficult part, which does make sense. The enemies themselves have a very, very difficult time navigating a lot of Darktide's maps, and so I can only imagine getting this fast-moving AI dog to do the same was quite hell. And then the rest of this information is all about the sound design and the visual design of the dog. Here we go, some bonus questions. Will the Cybermastiff have cosmetics? And they reply, yes. You will be able to customize your loyal companion by giving it a name and picking its fur color and pattern. So names confirmed for dogs, which is great, because so many people have been coming up with their very cool, very fun dog names down, in the comments, and let me know what your dog name is going to be in this Arbites update. Players will also be able to further customize them with various cosmetics obtained either from class penances or through Commodore's vestures, which only says to me that yes, there'll be some class penances coming out, probably like 1 or 2 sets, but there will also almost guaranteedly be Commodore's vestures, premium cosmetics that are available right from week 1. We would expect no less, but it's there for you if you want to whale out. Can you pet the Cybermastiff? Yes, only in the Morningstar, and there's various interactions you can have with your companion in the hub, your companion, including giving it a quick pet for being a loyal companion. It is only your pet, so is mentioned here, so that makes me think that no Ogryns or Zealots or whoever can feed the dog or pet the dog. It must only be its owner that can interact with it. And I must have skipped over it, but they do also mention that you can feed the dog a treat, you can tell it to sit, and you can tell it to bark in the Morningstar. It has its own set of emotes when you're in there. So everyone will be making their dog bark repeatedly in the Morningstar is my anticipation. And that's all the news for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Sloptide News, and I'll see you very soon. But wait, show me the queer facts. Today's queer facts comes from a commenter on the last video who said the most gay fact is that Tanner Lindbergh saved the Ogryn. Be sure to leave your queer facts down in the comments, and thanks for watching, everyone.